Okay, we are remaining on our working page 26, the graph paper tool, and we are about to do the next phase about business card project. So we will go back a page, copy to the clipboard the last place we are up to, Control C, and then for the page, and Control V, paste it down. And don't forget, I have always created a sample on every page if you need to zoom in to have a look at what I have done as a reminder. Just remember you can do that, and we are going to zoom in nice and tied to our card right here so you can see what I am doing. Let's select the graph paper tool, and I want to go with 8 by 8. Now the idea here is I want my graph paper to line up with this edge of this portion of the design here. So hover your mouse until you get that little node lock in the center. Click and drag, finger on Control and Shift so it is sizing from the center perfectly. I want you to lock to the edge. Just make sure that your mouse is right on the edge. As you see, it lines up there like that. That looks to me like it's actually over the edge a little bit. I don't know why, but I did say we are out of sizing a little somewhere. And this kind of stuff happens, all right? Here are a few things I would do. First of all, in this situation, select my graph paper again. Now finger on Shift, and I will select my spiral behind. I am going to hit A and C on my keyboard. Now, did you see what happened? I will undo that, and Control Z, and Control Z. Notice how the graph paper moves A and C. Now, why is that? I am actually jumping forward a lesson. I am actually doing an alignment thing. A means to line up horizontally with the second objects selected. C means to line up center vertically to the second objects selected. I hope that's not too advanced for where we are right now. But effectively, I selected the graph tool, finger on Shift, selected the spiral tool, so the spiral, I should say not tool, so the spiral was the second thing I selected. Okay, so A and C on your keyboard. A aligned my graph to the spiral horizontally, center horizontally. C aligns my graph to the spiral vertically. Okay, hope that helped. All right, now I am going to select my graph paper and right-click on the color blue, and the outline fitness is to fit for me. Now in this particular situation, we don't have an outline fitness appear in the property bar up here, so there is another way to do this. We are actually leading a lot here. The third tool out from the bottom is what we call the outline pane. Click on the little fly out and you can see other fitness options. In fact, let me just do that for you. I am just going to pop up. We are just trying. There we go. So there, you can actually see all of the options there. I simply want to go with, say, 0.5. I want it to be a lot thinner, and that suits this design better than I think, don't you? Can you see how my blue is just over the outside of the black? We might want to do something with that shortly, but anyway, we now need to put this on the appropriate stacking order because I don't want it on top. I want it just above my spirals. So what I am going to do is right-click in the center, and I am going to choose Order, and in front of, I am going to click on the purple because I want you to see the effect if the graph paper goes behind the spiral. Can you see that? Where the spiral crosses over, it kind of gives you a cool effect. Now I played around with that as being an interesting idea, and on which I gave up on because I thought, no, I don't like it. So I want to come up just above this spiral. So Control, Page Up. Remember that brings you up 1 in the stacking order. So now I'm directly above the spiral. Or of course I could have right-clicked. Go on Order and in front of, and then click right on the edge of the spiral to get the same thing. Okay, so now I want to create a duplicate. So plus, although for you who are having to use Control C and V, I will do it that way. Control C and Control V. I want you to see that I actually put on top of the stacking order. So we need to now obviously send that back in the order again. But before we do, we want to rotate. So click again to bring up the rotation handles. Finger on Control, and remember that leads to 15-degree increments. And watch up here on my property bar, and you can see where we are up to. And really what I was actually looking for is to just rotate a perfect 45. Now undo that. And have I rotated in the other direction? You have seen it's actually 45 degrees. See that? Now what we will do is put it in the right place in the stacking order. So again, right-click and Order and in front of. And this time I will click the other blue graph paper. There we go. There are a few steps to this one, and actually a few interesting things to learn, aren't there? Well, I am going to do a few things now. First of all, what I am going to do is round the four corners off the bottom graph, so Shape Tool. Now before, I told you to ungroup. I'm not going to ungroup this time because that can become a little messy with all the little squares everywhere. So what I am going to do is show you how to select in amongst a group. Finger on Control, okay? And you can select in an object inside of the group. Now if I have my Pick tool selected, I can do the same thing. Finger on Control, and I can select an object inside a group of objects. Now if I don't put my finger on Control and I click, I select the whole of the group of objects. Finger on Control, and I can select individually. See that? Cool. Let's grab the Shape tool. Finger on Control, click, select that corner and round. Finger on Control, click the corner and round. I didn't select the corner I want to around. Finger on Control, and there we go. Okay. Now what I will do is just quickly F4 so that I can remember the color I used. I want red and blue. Okay, so what I want to do, again, finger on Control, select the corner, blue, finger on Control, select the corner, blue, finger on Control, and red, finger on Control, and red. Now what I want to do is delete some of the square I don't want to see inside of this. So again, finger on Control and delete. Now in some ways it could be easier to ungroup this and do it in that way. I just multiply select all bunch of work and then hit the delete key. But the thing is, what happens is when you do that, you will end up with all of these really little individual objects everywhere that, should you want to make a change, you have got to go and kind of select them all one at the time, and so I am kind of saving myself that problem for later. But doing this way, so this is long wind that I do want to say to you. Finger on Control, select an object, and delete it again. Kind of a long way around, but that's okay. It's good for developing your motor skills for working with Corel Draw. Now I am just going to select that one there, and finger on Control, that one there. I want to create that square thing up looking through there. Look, there might have been another way to do this, but I really want you to get used to dealing with groups of objects and some of the strangest things that we sometimes have to do with when we work with the graphics program. Okay, so there is my design. So you can see I kind of have those squares going in through there. Not much, but a lot of it's hidden by the design. Now can you see how my blue sits just below or just on the outside of the black outline there? Zoom in a bit closer. You can see on the outline just there. Look, I mean, I am being very fussy and pedantic now, and resizing that dam will be hard. So what I would do is select it. And again, this is why ungrouping will be bad. I can still select it as a group, and I might drop it down to, say, 99%. And with my lock on, it will resize from the center. Just hit Enter, and just see how it will just compress down a little bit, or undo it, Control Z, see that? Now redo, Control, Shift, and Z redoes. See that? And I think that fits and looks a whole lot better. Hey, there is a lot we did just then. Really a lot more to that than you probably thought there was going to be. So see how you are going with that, and don't forget when you finish, actually save. You might need to make some notes for this one.